Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and in this video we're going to be reviewing to you Awkward, Season 3, Episode 13, Taking Sides. This episode was amazing. Honestly, it was just a really great episode. I really loved it. I thought there were some really amazing scenes in this episode. There were definitely some big performances and everything. And also, I just want to say that congratulations to Awkward. They were nominated for a People's Choice Award for favorite cable comedy, which is fantastic because this show is just fantastic. And I wouldn't classify it as a comedy. It goes into its own category, dramedy, but this episode was definitely more dramatic than it was funny. There were some really funny scenes in this episode, but overall it was more of a serious type of episode, and I definitely really enjoyed this episode, though I thought it was a great episode. So let's just get to it. At first right away we see that there is a definite change in Jenna from the last episode. I mean, we were sort of getting that selfish side of her, but even more now. Basically, that picture I have of her on the thumbnail, that is basically what she looks like now. Her hair is down, she's covered in all black, and Tamara and Ming are kind of like, what are you doing? And they're gossiping about Maddie and everything, and she's like, can you please stop gossiping about Maddie? And they're like, well, we're sorry, but it's kind of strange. And you know what, honestly, it is kind of awkward for them. I can see, the awkward's just the perfect time for this show, because this is a very awkward situation that they're in. They are supposed to accept this guy who they hardly even know. They don't even know Collin. They know nothing about Collin except that Jen and him, they like each other. That's all they know about Collin. So I can kind of see what's going on here. And honestly, at this point, I don't think we're supposed to like Jenna. That's not even like a statement. We are not supposed to like Jenna here. That's basically what they're saying. They're saying we're not supposed to like Jenna. We're not supposed to like the road she's going down this season. We're supposed to side with her friends. We're just watching her fall, basically. And, you can see that she's doing all this for Collin, but she's not admitting it. So then she hears this knock on the door. She thinks it's Collin. It turns out to be Maddie. Maddie wants to talk to her. She thinks he wants to talk to her about moving on and everything. He actually wants to talk to her about getting back together with her because he thinks them breaking up is stupid and he's tired of taking a break with her. But she says, oh, no, we need a break and you need to get over me. And, we can clearly see that he still has feelings for Jenna, but then we see a scene with Sadie where he's talking to Sadie, and Sadie's kind of like, wait a minute, I like how we had Jenna and Maddie's perspective in this episode. I definitely enjoyed that. And she's kind of like, wait a minute, you went to her house, I deleted her from all this stuff, and she sees that this girl, Devin, is texting him, and he's not trying to get too far with her and everything, and we'll get more into that later, but we can see that he really is still into Jenna, but at the same time, he is trying to move on. So then after this, we see that her mother brings up that her father has tickets to this game. He was hoping to bring Maddie to it, and she says, why don't you just bring Collin? But her mother says, well, we could, but we don't even know Collin. Jenna realizes that none of her friends know Collin, so she decides to throw this huge barbecue for everyone except Maddie. She invites everyone except Maddie, and that's what she decides to do. So that way people can get to know Collin, and she can have like a fun party and everything. And she invites everybody except Maddie, as I said. And when everybody hears about this, they're kind of on the fence about this. They're not really sure. Jenna's kind of like, well, when Maddie was the old part of my life, I'm trying to start a new chapter and everything. And this new chapter, honestly, it's not a good chapter for her because, she's leaving Maddie out and she's really ruining a lot of stuff, which I'll get to in a minute. But here's basically what happens after this. We saw that she's kind of like there's no sides to choose or anything like that, and she's talking to Tamara about that. But then we see that her mother is talking to Maddie, and this is very funny when her mother is talking to Maddie, and she's kind of like, I'm on your side. And Jenna basically tells her mother that you have to end your friendship with Maddie, and her mother doesn't want to, and I thought that was a very funny scene. But, she had to end her friendship with Maddie as well. And then we see a very funny scene between Valerie and Jenna's mother, where they're basically talking and everything. And I love the scene where Valerie was talking about how she has kind of like crushes on these high school boys. It's very funny to watch. And I definitely really enjoyed her scenes. I thought they were probably the funniest scene in the episode by far. Then after this, we see that no one is, people they're talking about the party. Tamara, Jake, Ming, Fred are talking about the party. I'm not really sure if they're going. Maddie is trying to get Jake to tell Tamara that he doesn't want to go to the party, and it doesn't end up working. He kind of tries to coax Tamara out of it, but it doesn't work. So he decides, you know what, we can go, but we're going to show up late. But then, while they're waiting for the party to start, Tamara just blurts it out that she had to keep the secret from Jenna that she was cheating on Collin. Now, when Jake finds out about this, he is very, very pissed off at her. He's like, why couldn't you have told me this? I could have stopped things from happening. And they are not on good terms now. He storms out of the room, and he says, you know what, don't tell me anything anymore. So we don't know if they're done or whatever, but they're definitely in a fight now, and he storms out. And this is a bigger fight than the one they had in the mid-season finale. And this is what I love about this storyline. Not only is Jenna ruining her personal life and Maddie's, she's ruining everybody else around her, except for Ming. Ming seems to be in a good spot right now, but probably that's not going to last. But as far as Tamara goes, she's just ruining her life. Tamara just had to have this huge fight with her boyfriend. It's all Jenna's fault. It really is. It's all Jenna's fault. So basically after this, they decide they don't go, so Ming makes Fred go to Jenna's party. No one's coming and everything. And he goes there, and he says, oh, no, none of them are coming. And this really starts to upset Jenna. At first, she's like, you know what, I'll just call them or whatever. She talks to Collin, she says, I'll just call them. But then she just, it takes hours and hours for them to finally text back. She's trying to call Tamara. Tamara's not answering her phone. Tamara's just really upset. She's crying in her bed. She just doesn't want to see anything with Jake. But Jen ends up, as Ming said, text bombing Tamara, and she says some really nasty stuff to Tamara, like she's insecure and she's not a nice person, and she doesn't want to listen to Jenna. And this really definitely upsets Tamara. She calls her back right away and just like, oh, you finally called? This was a very intense conversation. It was not really your typical awkward conversation between Tamara and Jenna. This was a very intense conversation. And we see that they're very upset at Jenna. They're going to do whatever they can to stop her from this. And, you know, she says, oh, me and Jake aren't on good terms right now, and that's your fault because I had to keep that secret from you. And then Jenna does the stupidest thing here. This was like the stupidest thing she's ever done. She brings up the fact that Tamara, you know, she said Tamara did the terrible thing too. She made out with Jenna's ex-boyfriend 2 minutes after they broke up. And that is true. That is true that happened. I also love that Collin's afraid of Tamara in this episode because of her punching him in the face. That was also really funny. But the whole thing here, I'm like, what the fuck, Jenna? Seriously, I was just like, what are you doing? It didn't make any sense to me why she brought that up. I mean, again, we're not supposed to like her. We're not supposed to like her at all. And this really upsets Tamara because Jenna has never shown any remorse towards this with Jake, but she's been holding it back inside of her. I mean, she is correct that Jake and Tamara started dating. But Jenna said they could. Jenna never said, they never started doing it behind Jenna's back. I mean, Tamara even asked her in that episode, you know, could I do this with them and everything? And Jenna said they could. So Jenna approved of it. So Jenna cannot say that. Jenna is saying total BS right now. That is not true at all what happened. And I mean, that's how the episode ends. They basically have been saying, we weren't going to choose sides here, but now we are, and we are not on yours. And so realizing that she has nobody left, basically, she decides to unfriend everyone, and she decides she's not going to go be with anyone except with Collin. That's all she cares about. And at this point, what's happened is that we see that next week she's going to get herself into very bad situations, and definitely she has no idea who she is falling for. It's going to be very crazy to see what happens here. But yeah, that plot for me was perfect. I really love the storyline this episode. I thought it was a really great storyline. Now let's get into the subplot with Sadie and Maddie, which I absolutely loved. I love their subplot. As I said, Maddie is trying to move on with this girl, Devin, but at the same time, Sadie is also trying to avoid, but we can see that she clearly likes this boy, Austin. Remember the boy at the Halloween episode? Yeah, that boy is back in this episode, and she's kind of being annoyed by him, but you can see that she truly does like him. She's just not admitting it. Liza sees the guy here. She immediately wants to date Austin, so Sadie plans to get Liza and Austin on a date together, but you can see that he clearly still likes Sadie. And then we we see that there's a scene with Maddie and Sadie in Sadie's room, and Maddie starts saying, wait a minute, this guy really likes you, and I can tell you really like him, why don't you just go for it? So Sadie decides, you know what, I'm going to go for it. She calls up Liza, and she says, Liza, you cannot date Austin because I am. And I thought that was a big scene. I'm very happy that Sadie is deciding to do this because you know what? Austin's good for her. Sadie really has been through hell this season. I really like the part where they were kind of discussing, you know, how bad each of their lives are. And Maddie was like, wow, you do have a terrible life. That was really funny. And I definitely really enjoyed that scene. And I really enjoyed this episode. So the episode ends again with, you know, with Jenna and friending everyone. And it's going to be a pretty crazy episode. Let me know, and there are a lot of things I want to talk about here. One of the things I'm loving that they're doing this season is that not only is this break affecting Jenna and Matty, it's affecting everyone around them, as I said. And I really think that's cool, because eventually she's going to lose everybody. She has not completely lost Tamara and Ming right now. They're just not happy with her. And, you know, they're just not happy with her. And as far as Jake and Tamara, I don't know where they're going to go. I'm really hoping they don't break up. I think they are, but I really hope that does not happen because I really would like them to stay together. But again, what Jenna said with the whole, with Tamara and Jake, you know, is total that was ridiculous. That was completely uncalled for. But, I mean, we're just not supposed to like her this season. I'm liking that they're doing that. We have this character, but we're not really supposed to like her. I like that they're doing that. Let me know if you guys saw this episode. Also, do you like Sadie and Austin? I really love them together. I think they're very cute together. I really think he's perfect for Sadie. And also, what do you think? Are you Team Maddie or are you Team Collin? I'm definitely Team Maddie. I think what Jenna's doing is completely unreasonable. She's being very selfish, not listening to her friends or anything. And, but that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next, video. Okay, bye.